Hello, everyone. This is Backyard Musings, where we're broadcasting live from Apple Valley. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
And today we're going to be discussing sanctuary cities. It dovetails nicely into what we've been talking about, the border issue. A couple of days ago, we talked about 10 million illegal aliens since January 21st, 2021, pouring across the southern border. Where are they going? Some of the governors and mayors of the border towns have been shipping them to sanctuary cities. And I'd like to take a look at what is a sanctuary jurisdiction, just so we know what they are. So they could be city, county, or state. The jurisdiction really doesn't matter. And generally, they have laws, ordinances, regulations, resolutions, policies, other practices that obstruct immigration enforcement. That's basically what a sanctuary city does, or jurisdiction. And they shield criminals from ICE with detainers, imposing unreasonable conditions on detainer acceptance, denying ICE access to interview incarcerated aliens. A detainer is a notification to an agency that says, hey, you've got someone, we want to interview them.
Yeah, which it should be, hey, we've got somebody, maybe you want to interview them, instead of them having a job. Kind of counter.
If they're incarcerated, why not? Why not share the information? I just don't get it.
Exactly. It's counterproductive.
And also impeding communication and information exchanges between their personnel, the sanctuary city's personnel, and federal immigration officers. That's what makes up a sanctuary jurisdiction. So I researched where are sanctuary cities, counties, states, and very, very interesting. It's a huge list. Big list, all up and down the East Coast and the West Coast. And in the center, you've got areas like Denver, Aurora metro area. You've got Des Moines, that's a hot spot. Chicago is a hot spot for sanctuary counties and cities. It showed that there are more counties, way more counties than cities that are sanctuary. And almost all of Washington state is sanctuary, and half of Oregon is sanctuary. And there are 12 declared states that are sanctuary. So you probably heard about what's going on in Chicago and New York, Scott.
Yeah, you can throw California in there as well, right?
Yeah, California is one of the 12.
Collectively, I don't think everywhere in California is considered sanctuary, but a good majority of the large metropolitan areas are.
Yeah, large metro, San Francisco in particular, LA. So there's been in the news some things about Chicago and how the residents are up in arms about migrants coming in. What have you seen, Scott?
Well, they're asking these people to allow people to either live with them. I know in some cases I've heard, even in New York, where they've asked people that have been living in hotels that they have to leave. They got to move out. We need room. We need room for the illegal immigrants. And that is just nuts to me. I mean, what's next? They're going to ask us to move out of our homes. I mean, it's out of control.
Well, the next step is to order you to quarter these people, which is against the Third Amendment. I think it's the Third Amendment you can't quarter troops in your homes. But that affluent neighborhoods in Chicago are asking their residents, hey, it's time to, put up or shut up. Let's take these people into our homes. It's a little bit crazy to do that.
Yeah. I mean, when are they going to get to the point where they raise the eminent domain clause and just start taking over people's property?
Yeah.
No.
Well, they're doing that with airports. They're doing that with elementary schools that are one that's shuttered. They're taking it and allowing people to stay in it. San Diego, the airport down in San Diego, they're letting aliens stay there.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
So last year, New York, the state of New York, had $2.1 billion fund to pay unemployment and stimulus benefits to illegal aliens that was exhausted in 3 months. $2.1 billion in 3 months.
Yeah. Where'd they get that money? They get that money from defunding the police.
Maybe
that money. Maybe they're just spending it.
Yeah. So these cities, Chicago, New York, Denver, are all seeking money to address the surge of illegal aliens. we've already burped up 113 billion to Ukraine and 14 billion for the U.S. border. That's a lot of. I mean, comparison, Ukraine is more important than the border. So there's a representative in Texas, August Pfluger, who's seeking to introduce legislation that defunds sanctuary cities. It's called the No Funding for Sanctuary Cities Act. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think that's a great. I mean, where is the money going to come from when they want to?
Taxpayers.
I mean, our state is already in billions of dollars of debt.
Yes.
And, you know, they're
tax the wealthy. Put more tax on gasoline.
Yeah,
tax the solar on your house.
I asked you, define wealthy. You know, I don't know, but yeah,
tax unrealized gains. Unrealized gains.
This guy, Representative Pfluger, man, he's got my vote, and I don't even live in Texas. I think that's a great idea.
He's saying his bill would, any jurisdiction that blocks federal immigration enforcement would be ineligible for some federal law enforcement grants and any other grants administered by the DHS or DOJ. So these agencies, they have grants for cities and states to use for certain things, and this bill would block that. If they're blocking federal immigration, it requires the DHS secretary to report to Congress how many states and localities are not complying, and then funds can be withdrawn from those non-compliant states and be diverted to complying states and localities. What do you think of that one?
I think that's a great idea. I mean, and again, it's a sad thing, but you got to hit them where the money is, and if you don't give them the money, they're not going to be able to fund all their other asinine programs. It's just crazy.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the border towns shipping illegal aliens to sanctuary cities, and those mayors are calling it a political stunt, but it's hypocrisy, right? Because they've said all along, we want you. We're not going to turn you away. We want you. And then when they start coming, now I got to spend money. There's a competition for resources. Do my residents get it, or do the aliens get it?
It's a crisis when they ship a couple busloads of people into some of these cities. It's a crisis. A crisis is what's happening at the border. You know, all they need to do is just shut it off.
Do you remember what they did, Martha's Vineyard, when they shipped them over there? Within hours, they were shipped out to like an air base, air reserve base.
Yeah, I mean they've sent them into the San Francisco area, and you know, Aunt Nancy got all excited about it up there. Kamala Harris not happy.
No,
so,
not at all.
You know,
so I've got a quote from CBS News, and we think about this right now as a partisan policy, but like you were saying earlier, this goes back to Clinton, to the Bushes, you know, this immigration thing. So here's a quote. The reality, quote, is that Donald Trump has no plan to build a humane and secure immigration system, Biden campaign spokesman Kevin Munoz said in a statement to CBS News. He only cares about himself and will prey on our country's most vulnerable if he thinks it will help him regain power. So let me ask you this, Scott. When President Trump donated his entire salary for 4 years to the VA, was that selfish of him, looking only for himself?
Yeah, no, he's probably the only president in maybe the last 5 or 6 administrations that has really paid attention to, and he's not a perfect guy, but the border was a priority for him. I think he did a great job. I mean, he set some really good initiatives and programs going on, like keep them in Mexico until we can figure out what's going on. Defining asylum. That is absolutely a political finger pointing scheme right there by this Kevin Munoz.
The only thing he talked about it, but the only thing that couldn't get accomplished was the anchor babies. That's when a foreigner who's pregnant, third trimester, comes in, gives birth, that baby is a citizen, which allowing the mother to stay there too.
Yeah, they need to work on that, make some kind of movement on that, I think, but that'll probably never.
So here's a Trump campaign quote. Trump campaign spokesman Stephen Chung said Mr. Biden and Democrats were, quote, directly responsible for the completely lawless and open border, allowing deadly drugs to flow into communities, giving safe passage to human traffickers, and empowering cartels to spread their violence. Which of those two quotes do you find believable?
Well, I'd have to go with number two. Although, like I just said, though,
Yeah.
you know, had Republican administrations that have turned their back on that problem down there too, and maybe it wasn't as prevalent. But this has been a political snowball that's been rolling and rolling and rolling, and it's
But 10 million in 3 years. The idiocracy, the Biden-Harris idiocracy, are forcing the Border Patrol agents to snatch these people and bring them in, catch and relocate. It's not catch them if they're crossing. They're going after these people to bring them in. And these are give ups. They're giving up. And so they're missing the gotaways. They're missing the people who are smuggling stuff in covertly.
Yeah, no, this has become an avalanche of a problem. And I'm sure that this election coming up at the end of this year is going to be keyed in on this point. That's going to be a major, major point.
Yeah, and there's over half of the states now are supporting Texas. We'll support you, Texas. We'll send you razor wire. We'll send you whatever you need.
Yeah.
So it affects the whole interior, all the states.
I think, yeah. And I think all the southern border states, California, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, all need our support. But the ones you hear about the most where the action is happening is Arizona and primarily Texas.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Catch us tomorrow. If you like what you see, click the subscribe button. We'll see you later.
Have a good day. Thank you.